Welcome to our deep relaxation class. Enjoy.
Arium. Thank you so much, Buff, and staff at the Eldersburg Branch Library that continues to help support these recorded classes. And of course, I'm glad for everyone that can make it here live or attend at your own time. All of these classes are available for free to replay on YouTube. And you can search the Eldersburg Library by checking out Library CCPL. That's the Carroll County Public Library, Library CCPL. Anyway, one of our focuses for tonight's class is going to be some self-reflection tools. So we're going to start tonight's class seated or just somewhere comfortable. And as has been indicated in the chat, if you'd like to have a journal and a pencil or just something to take a note on, or if you'd like to just listen and see if it's for you. We're going to take a moment to reflect on just three things, three tools that we can use at any time that can help us feel a little bit better, a little bit happier, more grounded, and hopefully a little bit more at peace within ourselves. And with all those things, we've maybe helped reduce our own suffering by a few degrees. And if we can do that, then we're able to give so much more to everyone else that we love in our community. So that's the cause and effect and the beauty of using these reflection tools. So let's now just take a moment. Let's just check in before we invite in anything new and use these tools. Let's just see where we're at now. This is actually one of the beauty of the first tool itself, is checking in and being just right here with your breath. Personally, I like to close my eyes. If I'm opening my eyes, I'm opening my eyes to the world of all this external stimulation. And when I can close my eyes, it really does allow me to be here. Now, I can't always control the thoughts that come while I'm here, but I can just simply control how I react or don't react to those thoughts. So let's just take a moment to reflect on just grounding ourselves through here. And if you need to use your senses and open your eyes and look at things around you to really feel here, then you can do that also. That's the beauty of this practice. It's very easy. You can do it through the senses, looking outward, listening, maybe tasting or smelling, being mindful of the present moment. And sometimes if we're not feeling grounded, if we're feeling bad, or if we're feeling anxious or depressed, then it can be really hard to be here. It can feel like a struggle, and the senses can overwhelm us. And that's the beauty of just really grounding by bringing your hands to touch in front of your chest and just focusing on your breath. You don't have to force the breath to do anything. Whether the breath is slow, relaxed, or whether it feels strained, whether it feels anxious, you can just observe it and stay with your breath, one moment at a time. Gradually, as you feel you're able to, once you're feeling more here and present, you can deepen your presence and that quality of presence with your breath. You can take a nice slow but steady breath in through your nose and receive that breath like a drink of fresh air. And then exhale out your mouth and direct your attention down and away. Again, steady the breath. Breathe in through your nose. And then exhale. If you want to, you can open your eyes, maybe even just sort of stretch the muscles of the face and open your eyes wide and breathe out. Good. Guarantee if you can do this maybe just 3 or 4 or up to a dozen times, you can really start to influence your actual biological nervous system response. And you can start to create this feedback for relaxation and presence. That will allow us to feel more at peace here in this present moment. And if the thoughts come, well, what do I do? What do I do? And what's next here in this moment and the moment after? You can just really try and be steadfast for a few more breaths. Be patient and persevere one breath at a time. You can feel each breath like a smile right here in the center of your chest. And that actually brings us into our second reflection tool, something we can use to increase our well-being. It's in yoga terminology called Pradipaksha Bhavana. And it really embodies in a Western kind of psychology way the power of positive thinking. And it really does emphasize where we allow our attention to focus on. And we can't control very many of these things in this life. What we can control is how we react and how we process and what we enjoy in this life. We can choose these things. And so you can really just focus on someone you love or something you love, something that invokes your heart's passion. And again, feel that warmth. What is it that makes that bird in the center of your chest sing so sweetly? You can focus your attention on that. Even just let your palms turn open as you sit, or maybe it's even comfortable for you to lie down with a technique like this. You can feel very relaxed and at ease. And again, just with your breath, feel that softening. Feel that inner smile growing. Surrender to that. Feel how that is a sort of cumulative benefit from being here. Now you can bring in something good and settle into a sense of gratitude. And as we continue to do this, it's a practice like anything else. Certainly get results, but we can't just get results in 10 seconds. It's a tool, it's a reflection tool. You know that you have it there. And how often and when you use it is ultimately a third thing that we can do is really just to reflect, how can I reduce my own suffering any amount? I'll just use a dietary example because it's an easy one for us to think about in a broad term. And you'll know yourself the best to know a way that you can reduce suffering for yourself. And maybe it's just that second tool, thinking more positively. That is a way that we can reduce our suffering. But you can think about it in the sense of, if I eat a lot of processed sugars or processed foods or sweets, I know that for my body that will come with some repercussions and some inflammation and some things that over time could cause, you know, health detriment, that would be a detriment to my health, or cause, an increased risk for health illness. And it's the same thing with emotion. Sorry for the technical interruption. Hopefully that'll all play seamlessly back on the recording, but all is well. So that's those 3 reflection tools. At a glance, just trying to ground either through your senses or with your breath to be here. Tool number 1, being here. And then increasing that quality of presence by focusing on the positive, bringing something in that really brings joy to your heart, And then that third reflection tool, you can really sit and ask yourself, how is it that I can reduce my suffering and in turn help contribute to the well-being of others? And so now we'll start to move and integrate that. And again, please do revisit this more when you have time and you're looking forward to making these changes and bettering yourself and in that way and integrating these tools into your life. I do wish you well. It is a continued practice. We're going to move back to our yoga mat now, and we're going to stretch and relax, and hopefully we'll save some time at the end to revisit these tools and build upon them even in this practice. Om Shanti. Peace. Coming back to your mat, we're going to start on our hands and knees here. And if you need a blanket, depending on the kind of surface that you're practicing on, you might like something to cushion your knee joints. I don't recommend anything too thick. You don't want to hike your knees up that much, but a folded blanket should be appropriate there. So with your knees under your hips and hands under your shoulders, I want you just to start looking over one shoulder and then starting to draw and lengthen that opposite side body. For example, I'm looking over my left shoulder, really lengthening that right side body, and then I'm going to repeat on the other side, looking over right shoulder. Go ahead and do that 4 or 5 more times on each side. Take your time with your breath twice more. Each side. Feel that nice side body stretch. Press your hands into the floor and come back to center and lengthen the spine, really reaching the crown of the head forward, pressing the floor away. And then go ahead and step your left foot back. And then turn and ground the left foot down. So you're going to have a line from your right hand, right knee, back to your left heel. But you have this 3-point line here. And then you're going to inhale and open this left arm up, really creating this perpendicular to the floor shape with the arms. This is almost like a bridge, like a side bridge or a gate pose with your hand on the floor. Of course, if you needed a yoga block, I'm going to grab those really quick. To bring the floor up to you, you might find that makes this more accessible here. And then we're going to slowly bring both hands back down. We're back in this shape here with the right knee down and the left leg extended out behind. And then go ahead and bring that left knee back down. Go ahead and just shift the knee side to side. And then go ahead and just come down to the forearms and surrender the forehead towards the floor. Extend the forearms up and overhead and really sink back with the hips. Enjoy 3 or 4 more breaths. Practice grounding through your breath here in this child's pose. Come on back up to that tabletop position, that hands and knees position. I'm going to go ahead and extend that right leg out behind this time. I'm going to flip on around so that I'm not having my back turned to the camera here. So I'm going to extend that right foot out behind, really pressing that heel back behind me, right toes on the floor. And then if you want to, you can start to turn and ground that right foot down so that those right toes are facing the same way this short edge of the mat is facing. Right, so that foot's parallel there, and you can see that heel lines up with the knee. Scooch that knee back a little bit to open the hips. And then I see that that left hand needs to come in just a little bit. And in fact, I'm going to use that block to help stabilize left hand there. And I'm going to reach right hand all the way up. Right arm stacks right over left. And the core is engaged here. That point right underneath the belly button, that hara point. Draw that point up. So that whole point from the midline all the way up through the throat and the crown of the head. Reach and lengthen that. In turn, lengthening the spine. If you want to, you can turn and look up and find that right hand thumb, or look at that point beyond the ceiling with your eye gaze. Ready, relax the head and neck and look back down. Find the floor. Ground the hands back, both flat on the floor. Turn back onto the ball mound of that back foot. And then lower that right knee back down. All right, good. Take a brief rest in child's pose, forearms on the floor. I want you to go ahead and clasp the hands, but go ahead and make sure you don't crush that pinky and tuck that bottom pinky to the inside of the fingers. All right, so we're in this sort of forearm shape here. I want you to start to walk the knees back and then just come forward into a forearm and knees plank. Lengthen through the spine, suck that lower belly in, toes are tucked, but you're really balanced on the knees here. You can even just relax the feet with the toes untucked if you wish. Engage in the core, sucking the lower belly up and in. Really lengthen through the core. Reach the crown of the head forward. All right, when you're ready, palms to the floor. Slowly bring your hands back underneath the shoulders and press the floor away. Go ahead and step your knees forward and just come to a kneeling position with your hands up on your hips. Inhale, bring the hands up and overhead. Exhale, palms touch and press down through the midline. It's up. Exhale, hands press down and away. One more time. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, slow out the mouth. Very good. We're going to make our way up to a standing position now. So take your time to come to a standing position. And as always, I'm an advocate for drinking clean water whenever you feel like you need to. So I'm going to grab a quick drink. We're going to move into our sun salutation practice next. We're going to warm up with some sun breathing. Hopefully we'll have time for a balancing pose before we come back down to the mat. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stand at the top of the mat. Hands in front of the chest. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, ground down through the feet. Just shift the weight forward and back. Relax the hips. Shift the hips side to side. Turn of electric. Inhale, stretch the hands back up and overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, folding forward. Inhale up halfway. Bring your hands to your knees or thighs and lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, relax the hands back down towards the floor and step your right foot far back. Bring the knee down into a low lunge. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, step that front foot back. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog looks like a mountain peak, but like an upside down letter V, almost like an equilateral triangle. And again, that hara point, that point right below your belly button, that's the point that's at the peak of that triangle. If you need to, you can bend the knees, so bend one leg and then the other and start to stretch those hamstrings. And slowly come back down onto your hands and knees, all the way down, forearms, and then slowly scoop the hips, forearms on the floor. We're going to come up into a Sphinx Pose. Elbows stacked right underneath of the shoulders, lengthen through the spine, pressing the hips down. And then exhale, slowly relax the chest and chin or forehead to the floor, hands underneath shoulders. Tuck your toes. Press the floor away, come all the way back up to your downward facing dog. Gently relax the head and neck by turning the head and neck side to side. Go ahead and step your right foot forward up between the hands and slowly lower that left knee to the floor. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, step the back foot forward. We're going to come into that standing forward fold shape. Inhale up halfway, hands and knees, shins, maybe just the floor or a yoga block. When you're ready, inhale. Keep the spine long, head stacks over shoulders, over hips, hands reach up high. Exhale, hands touch in front of the chest. Relax the hands down. Gently shake it out. Inhale. Hands reach high overhead. Open the heart. Press the hips forward. Exhale, fold forward. Hands release down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands plant. Left foot steps far back. Option, you can keep that left leg extended long. Option, you can press the fingertips back towards the wall behind you. Lengthen through the spine, reaching the crown of the head forward. Another option would be you could just keep the fingertips on the floor, lower that left. When you're ready, find your way back to that downward facing dog shape or take a rest in child's pose if you need to. Down through your feet. Roll your elbows in towards the floor. Exhale, slowly knees down. Shift forward into your forearm plank. And then gently lower the hips. Elbows under shoulders. Lift through the chest. Or bring the hands underneath the shoulders and rise. Cobra or Sphinx Pose. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Look gently over each shoulder 1 or 2 times. Exhale, relax, tuck the toes, press back up to hands and knees, and take a rest in child's pose now. Enjoy that balance between effort and relaxation. Stay here for a few more breaths in that child's pose. Slowly make your way back up to hands and knees and press up into downward facing dog again. This time reach the right leg out far behind, coming into a three-pointed dog. Like when we extended our foot before with the knee on the ground, this time the legs extended. Three-pointed dog. Then lower that right foot down. Same thing, extend the left leg up far behind. This time step the left foot up in between the hands. Again, you have the option of keeping that right leg extended, right knee on the floor, fingertips on the floor, or hands extended behind you, or up and over. Ready, bring the hands back down. Step the back foot forward into a standing forward fold. And release the head and neck, shaking the head and neck out gently. And then inhale up halfway, hands propped above the knees, lengthen through spine, pull the shoulder blades together. And exhale, release the hands down. Inhale all the way back up. And exhale, hands flowing through the midline, palms together. Press back down, release your fingertips towards the earth. Soften your knees here. And go ahead and just widen your stance slightly side to side. So your feet are extended right outside of your shoulders, maybe by a few inches or so on each side. Now imagine you're kind of carrying like two really big pillows or big, loads of laundry or something underneath each arm or whatever it was you were carrying. And then just soften that. Relax the shoulders, relax through the fingertips and elbows. Soften all your joints. Shift the weight forward and back, side to side. You can even make some hip circles here. Gradually, smaller circle, relaxing each joint. Down through the feet. You have the toes turned out slightly, and the knees are just ever so bent. Now, for some people that find that seated meditation is kind of hard on their joints, or it's difficult to sit cross-legged or in a chair for a long time because they already do, sometimes a standing meditation is a nice alternative. I would just be aware of your breath, stay grounded and alert and relaxed. So keep your knees slightly bent again. Now we're going to inhale and take a twist over to the left, reaching over with the right hand. And the left hand, I'll turn around so you can see, The back of the hand will face sort of the back body, the lower back there. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, exhaling. And then we'll inhale. And then exhale. We can kind of try and keep the same level, the shoulders relaxed. If the breath wants to move a little more quickly, we can. Moving into like a spinal twist with and led by breath. Breath can be a very slow, steady breath, deliberate movement side to side. Or it can be a more vigorous breath in, and almost like a repelling breath out, expelling all that old air, increasing oxygen-rich air. We have a lot of houseplants that love all the increased exhalations. They like to drink that stuff up. Four more breaths. Slow it down. Bring your arms back to that carrying the two big things of wool or the barrels, and then just relax down. Inhale, circle the arms up and overhead, and the knees a little more. And then exhale, hands down to the left. Inhale, hands up to the right, creating big flowing lateral circles. So you're exploring this lengthening of the side body and a forward fold all together. Really finding this sort of spherical flow with your breath. And keep it slow and steady. Ground down through the legs. Heels turned in, toes turned out. Pause with your next inhalation, and exhale in the other direction. Continue for about 30 to 40 seconds on this side. Two more breath cycles. Inhaling, hands flow up. Exhaling, hands down to the right. Inhale, hands back up, and exhale, hands touch and relax down through some. So we're going to make our way back to just a normal standing position with your knees, feet, and shoulders all aligned. Relax and shift the weight forward and back. Now, if you can, shift the weight just over into one foot and lift that opposite knee just to about the height of your waist. Use your hands to create like a little basket and support that leg. And just like you were dropping back a gear, push and relax that right hip back a little bit. It might just be a movement of a half an inch or an inch, but just keep the hips square as you lift that knee. The tendency is to kind of lead with the hip and push that knee forward and up, try and really keep these hip flexors centered. Reach that knee up. Keep the standing leg relaxed. If you have a wall close by, you can use a wall to simply lift and help support you there. Lengthen through the waistline. And then if you can from there, you can even start to bring the hands over to the outside edge of that lifted leg. And you can make it sort of a standing twist. Reaching back. Looking and twisting, rib cage, shoulders, head and neck. Come back to center and lower that foot down. Go ahead and take a few steps side to side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we have one more standing, balancing, hip opening stretch we'll move into. And we'll see what we get after that. All right. So go ahead and shift over into the opposite foot, ground it down, and lift that knee. Again, you very much might like to have that wall close by or a chair, something to really help ensure your balance and stability here. You might have to step off your mat if you're on a carpeted surface that could move. Just be aware of your surroundings. And go ahead and lift that knee up. You might like to just stay here. You might like to explore lengthening and extending that foot out. You might also like to explore that twist to the side. Remember to draw that left glute back so the hip flexors can stay relatively parallel. Slowly come back, center, and relax that. All right. So with the help of either the wall or a chair, or if you really do want to practice testing your balance, do so at your own caution and awareness. We're going to come into a standing figure 4 stretch, also known as a standing pigeon pose. Alternatively, you could do this on your back, lying down, or seated in a chair. The same principle and alignment of the legs applies regardless if it's standing or seated or otherwise. And we are going to come down to the floor next, so if that's more your speed, you can transition there now and listen as I explain. So I'm going to go ahead and again lift that one knee up, and I'm going to cross just above the ankle, almost the lowest part of the shin, right over top of that knee, and I'm going to have a seat as if I was going to sit back on a chair. I'm balancing here. And slowly just deepening that seat, keeping the spine long. It's also important to notice the foot here needs to remain flexed. This helps to protect and ensure that this knee can remain at a safe 90-degree angle throughout the stretch. Now, if you're just trying this as a standing balancing pose for the first time, working up to 15 to 30 seconds is plenty of time, and then you can continue from there. So we'll go ahead and move to the other side. And we'll repeat again. Side can be very different too, so take your time with yourself. And you want to use that support. Make sure that you can get into the stretch safely without struggle. And if it's not right to do it standing, you need to come down to the floor. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. So if you opted to go to the floor and you just weren't sure exactly, it is really the same exact shape with the leg. You've got that space right at the lowest part of the shin crossed over top of the shin there, over top of the knee. The foot remains flexed. And again, the hip flexors are even. And maybe even you want to draw that knee in. I'll show you again from a different angle here. Again, just rest for a few breaths. You're standing in a balancing pose, 30 seconds or so would be plenty of time on each side. If you want to repeat that a few times, that would be quite good also. The recorded time we have me here now, I'm just, hopefully you can leave here feeling a little more relaxed and with tools to revisit and expand upon in the future. When you're ready, go ahead and come on down to that relaxed position on your back. Arms extended out to the side, feet on the floor, knees bent. Go ahead and turn your head and neck side to side. Just get comfortable. Lights a little bit here. All right, take your time to get relaxed on your back on the floor, feet set. All right. Go ahead and give those knees a hug in towards your chest. And just gently rock side to side, breathing out your back. Out mouth. Good. Feet back down. Relax the feet. Shoulder blades come back together on the back body. So we're just going to press up into a bridge pose, but we're going to make this a restorative bridge pose. So if you have a cushion or a yoga block or something you can use to bring underneath the hips, that would be great. If you don't, you're welcome just to stay right here in constructive rest by just widening the stance of the feet and letting the knees come together here. So for this restorative bridge pose, it's all about just letting the hips relax. Lifted position, shoulders really need to be relaxed here and just kind of gently drawn together so that back of the head has plenty of space to lengthen away from the shoulders. So you can really feel that nice stretch. This is so beneficial actually to throat and your thyroid gland, parathyroid. Out of that, hold on to that right leg with the hands. Straighten the leg as best you can. And just start to rotate the ankle. Then with your breath, bend the knee, inhale, and then exhale, extend the leg. Really focusing on some joint care and mobility for the knee and the ankle. Also getting that benefit for the hamstring, T-band, with this simple range of motion stretch. Relax that right foot back down. We're going to repeat on the other side, hugging that left knee in towards the chest, then extending that left foot up towards the ceiling. And then if you wish, you can inhale, bend the knee, and exhale, extend, rotating through the ankle. But again, really try and keep the hips sort of level and set. It's sort of what we call like our square, like that 90-degree angle almost, with the leg here and the knee over top of the hip. It's really going to ensure the safety of our range of motion as we continue to relax, stretch here. With your breath. Relaxing the senses, just reconnecting and feeling your peace. Just rest that foot back down, relax through the shoulders and fingertips. Go ahead and extend the arms and legs and just take some time to relax in Shavasana. If you feel like there's any other practices that would be beneficial, now would be a great time to move through those. So you can relax completely, surrender. You can just let your palms face up, relax. The muscles of your face relax and soften. Feel every part of your body that is connected with the floor beneath you, growing heavy and relaxed. Also simultaneously light. Observe your breath. Observe your current state of being. Let go of anything holding on to your mind, heart. Just be here. Surrender it. Go. Something that you can't control. This compassion, acceptance for yourself right here. The way to reduce our suffering, turn out to improve the well-being of others. Every part of your body relaxing deeply, each passing breath. Feeling this like a blanket, like the way that water in a stream continues to pass over the stone, smoothing the stone, finding. In the same way, over the course of a lifetime, Intentional breath can bring us to a space, concentration, awareness, meditation, and absorption into supreme peace. With your breath, continue to unfold and relax and be at ease right here, right now. You're surrounded by a host of love, beauty, potential for healing, and growth, each and every breath, all around us, right? Using this moment to make spirit, compassion, radical acceptance, wherever you're at on your walk. Your body now, if you want to, can tense all together, one final tense and release of the body. Inhale and feel anything you're holding in the body, stress or tension. Hold it tight and inhale and blow the belly up, feel the chest expand. Breathe in as much as you can. Exhale, relax every muscle, every bone, every joint, everything. Go. Not these bodies. Bodies are our vehicles, our gardens. We can keep and use intensely. Inhale deeply beyond the body, into the breath body, the pranic body, your energy body, beyond your feelings and emotions, beyond your thoughts. Use the power of your breath now. Inhale deeply. Breathe long and slow and serenely in. Increase the potential of your inhalation slowly over a course of the next minute. Do so doubly, exhaling, long, slow. Any breath technique allow you your exhalation be long, just a micro second longer at a time, slowly over the course of this physical body, totally done, relax. The breath is fine. To a state of simple, loving message resting consciously into that loving present awareness, merging into the awareness. Oneness is the interconnectedness of all creation of life, great mystery, life, God. To the oneness, all life on this planet, sharing its airs and waters, sharing its lands and resources. Reduce the suffering of yourself, turn on natural design, harmony exists on this planet. Consciousness that we continue to merging into the awareness, oneness, all one. This is the powerful force and catalyst, transformation, and merge into the oneness with compassion, acceptance, fine, beautiful, all the action in this life. Play each of our part in the song. Get back your breath by the miracle of every breath on your. Feel the hum of that cosmic vibration, which is eternal, timeless, unstruck, all-pervasive sound. Chant it together now, silently yourself, all. Observe that space in between each breath. Feel the vibration in your bones and beating of your blood. Same vibration and sound and frequency. Gradually revitalizing the physical body by touching fingertips, bringing arms in to rest over the chest or over the belly. Wherever you can, become aware of your body. You can keep the eyes closed, or if you'd like to open them, do so slowly. Keep the gaze light, relaxed. The breath in again, relax. How to improve your well-being all the time, every breath. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Go in peace, relaxed, vitalized, reminded of the infinite love that exists all around you, close our practice. We greet each other now in this moment. Namaste. 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 Thank you all so much for this opportunity to connect again. Look forward to seeing you in future deep relaxation classes. Until next time, it's Brian. I thank you. Thank you to all the staff at the library. Hariom Tatsat. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Brian. That was a really great class tonight. Thanks all for being here. Sleep well, have a great night, and look forward to seeing you sometime soon.